Hey everyone, welcome to Brewing with Mr.Beer. My name is Robert.
Hi.
I got Ashley here for another installment of some awesome brewing we're going to do. We're brewing up our Oktoberfest lager, standard refill. We have already sanitized our keg. We got our equipment going in the sanitizer as well that we will be using. If you have not brewed before, sanitized before, check out the little next short video that'll teach you how to sanitize and the process that we did leading up to this.
Get everything nice and clean.
Yep.
All right.
We already got our 1 gallon of water in here, filled up about halfway, that 4 liter mark on the back. Basically, you're going to use half the packet of your no rinse cleanser. You save the other half for bottling. So we're going to pour in approximately half. It's a rough guess. Fold that up, put it away for later, and you want to mix this until it's dissolved. It's pretty easy to mix up, especially if your water is room temperature. Mix, we're going to put our spoon in there. We're going to throw our lid on, and we're going to shake it around to make sure it touches the entire surface of the keg. You're going to want to go upside down. It will leak out of the top because of the notches in there, so you can see it leak in there. Now that we touched everything, then you're going to want to let it sit for about 10 minutes. Alright, so 10 minutes has passed. Once the 10-minute mark is up, we're going to run some fluid out of our spigot here. I usually just kind of give it a 1 and 2 open. We're going to run that into our bowl. That's where we're going to keep all of our utensils. Then we're going to give it one more shake around just to make sure it's good. Alright, so we got that. Then the solution here, we're going to want to put it into our bowl, which will be used to sanitize all of our utensils. So we're going to dump that in there. That's where you have your can opener, your whisk, your spoon, whatever you're using. The rest of this just goes right down the drain. Throw your lid back on. Now you're ready to get brewing. All right, so we got sanitizing done. Hopefully you got yours done. Now let's get to brewing.
All right. So first thing we want to do is go over to the pot that we're going to use to heat our water. We're going to put 4 cups of water in there.
Just make sure that stuff is good to go. We use RO water here in the office. You can get filtered water. Spring water, you can use a brewed water. Kind of the best options. If tap water is your only option, as long as it's not heavily doesn't have a lot of chlorine in it, then you're good to go.
All right. Bring this puppy right over to our area. And
we're going to mix in our booster.
yes, so
Awesome.
I always tell people, booster, you always want to mix it in cool water. Now it sounds a little bit counterintuitive to some people, but you have to remember that this is not cane sugar. This is corn solids. So this is actually going to dissolve much better in cold, unheated water than it is in warm water. I'm just gonna go ahead and get that mixed up. It does still take a minute to dissolve, but you'll find the difference with putting it in cold water is that it won't seize up on you like putting it in warm.
Yeah, not all of our refills come with booster. If you buy your refill somewhere else other than Mr.Beer, you will not get the booster. It is fine, you don't need it. Just a little perk from buying from MrBeer.com. Kicks up that ABV a touch, adds a little more body to your beer as well, so that always helps. And if you're brewing the deluxe refill, you would add that when you add your malt extracts. So
all right, go ahead and kick that in there.
Yeah.
And like I said, even adding it in the cool water, it will still take a minute to dissolve. But the difference is that it's not going to get hard on you and become stiff or stick to your utensils or your pot. So that's really important.
Yes, and if you have old booster, they can clump together. Sometimes you just gotta beat it up, man.
Yes.
You just gotta give it a good 1-2, dissolve that bad boy, and you're good to go.
Yes. And that's just what I'm doing here. Patience pays off.
Yep, and then once we'll get that dissolved, we will bring this all to a nice rolling boil. All right, so now we got our water to a boil. We got our booster all dissolved for that. So now we will turn the heat off, take the pot off of the heat. That is very important before you do anything else. Take the pot off the heat. Make sure it can go on a surface that can support the temperature of your pot. We did put our can of HB Oktoberfest in warm water earlier. And what that does is helps it come out easier and smoother when you're mixing it all up, because it is a very thick substance, and it is very hard to mix up. Kind of like mixing maple syrup,
Yes,
basically.
very fun.
So, like I said,
Alright.
we sanitize everything. Can opener, scissors, everything you need is in there. These whisks actually work really cool. Shout out to Walmart.
Yes.
$1.50.
Silicone is such a great thing to use, especially when you're trying to clean out these cans to get every last drop that you can.
Yeah.
Not much sticks to it, and it kind of shapes itself to the shape of the can, which makes the whole process a lot easier in my opinion.
Yes.
All right.
Silicone
Thank you,
spatula.
Robert. So in you go.
Yeah, and I think if you brew a lot and if you don't heat up your cans versus heating up the cans, you can kind of just see the difference of when the malt extract comes out. It's just when it's warm, it comes out so much easier and quicker, and it's so much easier to mix in the hot water. And it'll save you a little bit of time on your brew day, which is already usually pretty short burn with Mr.Beer, which is kind of cool.
And your gravity will be more accurate as well.
Alright, so once we get that in there, we're just going to basically mix it until it's dissolved with the whisk.
I do. Thank you very much, Robert.
Whisk it up. Yeah, one thing you always notice is after we use something, we just throw it back in our no rinse solution to make sure that it is always staying sanitized and clean and ready to go. That looks good. All nice and bubbly.
All right.
With that, missing our water.
Go over to our fridge where we're keeping our water. Keep it nice and cold. And we just keep these, I believe these are actually originally apple juice jugs. And we just keep these around. They're great for keeping your filtered water in and putting it in your fridge
Definitely.
for your brew day.
So it's going to have cold water ready to go on your brew day.
Whoa, Nelly.
Yeah, so it's going to be a gallon of water. Basically, it's going to be, depending on the style of fermenter you have, it's going to be the number 1 line, or is it the 4-quart line?
4 would be equivalent to 1, and 8.5 would be equivalent to 2. So this one's got the 4-quart line on the back. This would be your 1, and this 8.5 would be your 2.
There you go. So then we're going to take that.
All right.
Moment of truth. This is the hardest part of brewing, is getting that in there. You can use a funnel if you want. Just make sure that it is sanitized, obviously. But unless you're a pro, you don't really need it, so, you know.
Calling me a pro,
Yes.
Robert?
Yes, because I would spill it. Guaranteed.
All right. Got that in there. We'll fill it up first.
Yes, now we're going to top it off to that number 2 line, or the 8.5 that Ashley was pointing out earlier. And again, we're using cold water to make sure, you know, it's a nice cool temp when we go to pitch our yeast here in a little bit.
And I can just see my line at this angle. We're
Almost there.
almost there. And there we go.
Perfect.
All right. So now that my wort has been diluted, I'm showing my temperature here at about 64 degrees.
That's good. Yeah, you always want to, if you have a thermometer or a stick-on thermometer, or you don't have one, you should probably get one. Good investments.
All right. And now this part is so important, especially for your yeast health. Yeast is a living organism. It does need some level of oxygen. So this silicone whisk is really convenient because you can really aerate your wort and not have to worry, if you do scrape the sides, about scratching your keg and potentially inviting in nasty things.
You don't want to do that.
All right.
Nobody wants bad beer.
So as you can see how well this is aerated, there is quite a bit of foam on there, and that is a good sign. All right. And we have our scissors and the sanitizer here. Go ahead and open our yeast packet. And yeast goes sprinkled gently right on top. All right, we place our lid on. We are done.
Boom, look at that, awesome. Oktoberfest done. So again, that was our Oktoberfest lager standard refill. We did use booster. If you don't have
Yes.
booster, you don't need to use it, just skip that step. And that's it, now we're good to go. We're gonna let this go for about 14 days on average. We'll taste it and see how it tastes, and then bottle it from there, and that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching, learned something, get ready for your brew day. Again, I'm Robert, that's Ashley. Thanks for watching. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.